All right, people, it is that time of the year once again. We are hopping into Battle Hub Draft League Season 5. It's crazy to think this started all the way back in like summer 2023. Now it's 2025. So we've been through a season before home, another just right when home dropped. The home season, we've been through the what's it called? The teal mask and then the indigo disc, and then we had another season of the indigo disc with like lower tier Tera. And so now it's time to kick this into high gear. All right, and I'm going to show you guys what I mean in just a second. So first, the rules. Stay pretty standard, still 16 coaches, one draft pool. This time 135 points to draft 9 to 11 Pokemon. Thank goodness they let us be able to draft not just 10, because that was rough, just being forced to draft 10 exactly. That really fumbled my plans. So this makes me a little bit more flexible. Then we got a 9-week season, top 8 advance to playoffs. That's again standard. 1 to 2 Tera captains, total of 26, so a lot more than we've been used to. And this time it's going to be free Tera once again, but with the addition of Tera Preview. Now I know this seems controversial, I know. I know that it kind of takes away the mystique of what Tera type you're going to be, but you'll see why. I'll go over this in a second once I get to the next slide. The battles will be at level 100 this season, just like last season. So the biggest change, though, is the fact that now, for this season, we're going to be in an Ubers season, all right? So as you can see, we've got the 4 different tiers of the Ubers here. We got this is all based off the BPL pretty much. We might have just tweaked a few things after watching their season. So we've got the Platinum tier with Groudon, Lunala, Mewtwo, Zacian. And if you pick those, then you cannot pick any other Ubers. And then we've got the Gold tier. And if you pick a Pokemon from there, you can also pick up a Bronze. That allows you to then get 2. If you get one from the Silver, then you can also actually get another Silver. So that's pretty optimal there. And then, of course, you can also pick Silver, Bronze, Bronze, Bronze. So in this case, I was looking over the Mons, and obviously, you know, I've got Mew in the thumbnail. I mean, Mew in the, it's my logo, and it's my channel. So obviously I was going to want Mewtwo, but me being at the number 9 spot, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get it. So I was like, all right, if I can get Rayquaza, that's okay. I'll even settle for something like a Magearna, Deoxys. That's all good with me. But it kept going. And the first pick was Groudon. Then we had Kyurem White. Then we had like, what else did we have? Lunala and Chien-Pao. Other Pokemon that went. And I was like, well, it's looking like I might actually be able to get this thing. So, even Palkia Origin went at number 3. It was crazy. So, with that, I am happy to announce that the Demolition Force first pick is indeed Mewtwo, who's going to be the Professor X this season. In honor of the game that I first got this from, Pokemon X. That's right, I'm using my original Mewtwo. And I know it's the original because I can tell on Pokemon Home, I scroll and it says like 2013, and it's got that original bashful nature. I remember telling my friend I was showing him my Mewtwo that I caught. I was trying to get this thing to be shiny, I'll be honest. I was soft resetting, but eventually I got tired of it. You know, me as a 13-year-old, I just didn't have the patience. Or a 14, rather. And so I caught it in a Master Ball. And I was like, hey, what do you think about this thing? And he's like, hey, show me the IVs. So I went to the checker and I was like, hey, it's got max special attack, max Spadef. He was like, hey, that's pretty solid. You got the special attack in there. And he's like, what's the nature? And I'm like, bashful. And he's like, hey, that's neither good nor bad. So hey, honestly, not bad. And of course, this was before I knew about like synchronizing natures or anything like that. Like this was like a couple weeks into the game, so I didn't know much about it. So after all these years, I've transferred it over to Scarlet and Violet, and I've already went ahead and changed the nature and optimized the IVs. I had to reset the EVs first. Again, 14-year-old me didn't really know about EV training, so in the Super Trainer, I maxed out the special attack, which was good. The special attack was very high, but I just went ahead and maxed out the special defense. I was like, oh, clearly its special is where it needs to be, so I'll fully train it in special with some attack for some reason. I don't know what I was thinking. But yeah, that's going to be Mewtwo. Like I said, this is a very good speed tier here at 130, and it's got a very well-rounded move pool. Pretty much any special attack I want to go for, it has almost. It also has Side Strike, its signature move, which can hit on the defensive side, the physical defense side, which is very good. So, Mewtwo, my favorite Pokemon of all time. Very happy to finally be able to use it here. I wasn't honestly sure if I would get it at number 9, but I did. And of course, following in the steps of Poke. Being able to utilize that Unnerve and not have to worry about any berries. This thing also has a pretty decent attack stat. I mean, 110. I mean, not bad. It has 106, 90, 90 defenses with Recover. Mew doesn't even have a recovery move, but this thing does. So, a lot of different ways I could use this thing outside of just being a special attacking goober. So, that's Mewtwo. Professor X, we're gonna keep on rolling here into Zarude, who's gonna be Monkey D. Luffy. All right, this thing is gonna be pretty good with its Tera. That's right, it's a Tera captain, folks. Once again, following in the steps of Pokemon, but we're gonna diverge from his BBL team here in a minute. I needed a good attacker. Nice 120 base attack. 105 base speed is pretty good. A lot of these Ubers, I don't know why. Gens 2 through 7, they're all like 90 base speed outside of Lugia for some reason. It's like, bro, Lugia's going to be too busted if we make it too bulky and have too much special attack. Where can we put the rest? Bro, put it in speed, bro. So, yeah. Zarude, pretty good. It's got healing. It's got the jungle healing signature move. That way it can restore its status conditions. It's got knockoff. It's got a U-turn. It's got all that good stuff. It can give me plenty of coverage. With the Tera also being able to remove that awful dark and grass typing. And yeah, just be able to hit hard and do some stuff. Pokemon's put some work in with it. And people have been gassing this thing up for a while now. They've been putting a little bit too much, I don't want to be crass here, but they've been, I won't say it, but you know the term. They've been gassing this thing up too much. So I need to see what all the hype is about and see if I can, oh, that's the term. They've been glazing this thing too much, let's just say. So I want to see what it's all about. And yeah, I figured Monkey D. Luffy, because I'm going to have some other One Piece names in there. I figured I may as well throw that in there. And yeah, let's see. Of course, it is a Tera captain, so he is the captain. So we'll have to keep going with that. Also, 105 defenses is excellent, along with 95 base for def. Basically, just imagine like your standard mythical, but it's optimized. As you can see, it has a higher attack and higher speed, so that makes it pretty good. Next up, we are going to be going with Terapagos, nicknamed Raymond, because they were the one that convinced me that I should go with Terapagos next. I was actually going to go with the Steel type next, but they're like, you know what? You should get that normal type in there. Get your Rapid Spinner in early. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. So usually I don't get my Rapid Spinner until later, but Terapagos was still there. I was like, all right, I'll go ahead and get it. And utilizing that Terra Shell ability will be very nice. I can get my Stealth Rocks here. I can also have a lot of coverage, just like with Mewtwo. Lots of special coverage on this thing. It's not nearly as strong, but it's very bulky, especially with the Terra Shell. It can't recover on its own. It could rest, but you know, resto chesto. But other than that, this thing is pretty much just going to be there to Rapid Spin, do some support, do whatever I need it to do. Yeah, be able to do some good stuff. Of course, Raymond used this to great effect last season. They loved this Pokemon, so I figured, you know what, let's nickname him Raymond and be able to use him here. So that's Terapagos pretty much in a nutshell. Like I said, this thing just has a lot of coverage moves, which is very great to be able to do what I need it to do. I can picture this being like the glue of this team, being able to always be there to Rapid Spin and being there to be able to throw out the strong special type coverage for anything that would want to spin block me. So, speaking of spin blocking, we were able to snag at round 4, crazily enough. That's just the fact that with all these Ubers, you know, everybody else was being thrown off. So, in my opinion, me getting a Platinum Uber was very good. Even though, of course, having 2 Ubers is great. You know, I think that puts them in a very great position. But having one Uber meant that I could then focus on getting my Terra Captain, Zarude, and then a very good uh, Rapid Spinner. So I was basically ahead of the curve in terms of the draft. And that then allowed me to be able to snag Scizor. Just kidding. I was not able to get Scizor in time. But I did snag my Golden Go. As you can see, nice shiny silver lining. It was indeed a silver lining that I couldn't get Scizor, but I could get the best spin blocker in the game, Golden Go. Y'all aren't ready for this. Emerald Miner, Hazard Stacking plus Golden Go. Y'all aren't ready. So this thing, another very good special attacker. With recovery as well, very bulky. So the team is looking nice and bulky here. As I learned from SD, I think my preferred style of playing is bulky offense. That's kind of what I'm going for here. And legit, my Golden Go was nicknamed Silver Lining from the Dynamax Raid event where they had the shiny Gimmighoul. So I was like, you know what? It is a silver lining that even though I didn't get Scizor, I did get Golden Go. So this thing can nasty plot, this thing can spin block, this thing can fire off, make it rains and shadow balls. Very good steel type, or very good steel type here for those pesky fairies or anything else that wants to stand in the way of my Zarude. So yeah, with that, we still need a. I mean, we don't really have a Dragon Fairy Steel Core at the moment. We got more like a Psychic Dark, normal Ghost Core kind of here going, but that's fine. Like I said, this thing is very bulky, and I can do a lot of good stuff. So that's Golden Go, Silver Lining. Next up, we have Rotom Heat. I wanted a Rotom Wash, not gonna lie. I checked in with Brandon because this poor guy, for 4 straight turns, bro, he'd been sniped over and over and over. He must have been sniped like 10 times. He had to keep changing his plans. I had to check in with him because I was looking at his team. I was like, you know, he might be going for Rotom. So I was like, brother, do you want Rotom Wash? He's like, yeah, I'm actually going for Rotom Wash. I was like, all right, bet. I was like, tell you what, I'll get Rotom Heat because that can still work with my plan because I've learned from Captain Beanard that the way to go, I just can see I've already got a Steel type. I was like, eventually I'm going to need some other stuff that's weak to ground. So I was like, you know what, wait a minute. If I can get Electric and Fire, 2 of my types that are weak to ground, and then I throw on the Levitate, well, then that takes care of it. We're good to go. So that was the genius behind that. It's got Volt Switch, it's got Overheat, it's got some good stuff. It's pretty bulky. Having that fire type coverage can nasty plot up. And yeah, as you can see, the nickname here, LG Dojo. So my friend that originally got me into Pokemon, his nickname in all of his Pokemon games was SL Dojo. And here I figured I would nickname it after him because I remember back in high school, he showed me that he had gotten a Rotom, shiny Rotom, in like 28 tries with the Masuda method. So he always was using shiny Rotom Wash, shiny Rotom Heat versus me. So this is nicknamed after him. LG just because it's like the appliance, but then Dojo in honor of him. So yep, that's pretty much Rotom Heat. So with this, I learned we've got our Grass type, we got our Fire type. I learned from last season that the offensive Water type, in my opinion, isn't quite as good. I think you need a bulky, if you can, a bulky and offensive Water type like Palafin. But I think a bulky Water type is much better just to be able to tank all those strong Fire and Water types. So with that, we're going to be snagging Quagsire, aka Swagsire, after HIM. He's used it many times. I love this nickname, Swagsire. So cool, bro. Look at this dude. He's just sitting there. He's got so much swag, so much riz. He's just chilling there. He's young Swagsire, bro. What can you do to him, bro? He's unaware. Okay? So having an unaware Pokemon, I've learned, has been very good for me. I was going to go for young Claude. I was going for the Claude as my poison type. But it was sniped for me. However, I realized, you know what? I kind of like the Swagsire better because, not gonna lie, I think I was going for Inteleon, actually, and that's why I was kind of leaning into was the fact that I didn't want an offensive Water type. I wanted a defensive one, so this works out better. So you're looking at these stats. I know they don't seem that great, 85, defense, 65, SPDF. With the unaware, bro, and the max HP, max defense, or whatever I gotta do, bro, this thing can be a tank. So Obviously, it can't Tera, but you know, water ground typing mixes percentage is pretty good with the rest of my team. I can run water absorb if I'm facing a very potent water type. And yeah, this thing, the most important thing with this bond is guess what? I got my stealth rocks. I got my spikes. I got my T spikes, brother. You're not ready for that, all right? Mixed with the golden go. Obviously, it's just one. I've also got stealth rocks on Terrapago, so no worries there. Um, yep, pretty much that's what he's gonna do. He's gonna be setting up the hazards and he's gonna be eating the hits. So that's Swag Sire. We're gonna keep on moving here with Hawlucha, the return of Hawlucha from Season 2, 619, using the same nickname here. So, this Mon is going to be here to, as you can see, I've got Mewtwo, special attacker, Terapgo, special attacker, Golden Go, special attacker, Rotom Heat, special attacker. They're all a bunch of special attackers. I needed some more physical attackers. Obviously, I've got the Zarude. Quagsire has more attack, physical attack than attack, but I needed a little bit more. 92 obviously isn't great either, I know, but it can SD, folks. It can SD. Relax, okay? It's got the Unburden. It can become the fastest thing alive, okay? So get off my back about all that. It also has access to Defog, U-Turn, some good utility. It has Roost even, so there's a lot of good stuff that I can prep on there. Acrobatics, close combat, all that good stuff. So, yeah. That's Hawlucha pretty much. I needed a nice. I'm not gonna lie. I was going for. I can't remember what I was going for. Talonflame or something like that. But I realized, you know what? An SDI I haven't had a fighting type, and it has been a little bit of a detriment to me, I think. So I think having a nice fighting type, you know, fighting hits into a lot of good types. You know, ice, steel, dark, rock. So it's a lot of good stuff. Shoot, is there one more? Is it ground and fighting that both have? Oh, at normal, right? Dark, steel, ice, rock, normal. Yeah. All right. So with that, that's Hawlucha. Next up, we are going to show off our Comfey, nice shiny Comfey that I bred back in Sword Shield, named after Starry Skies. Shout out to Starry Skies. They're an OG from the Battle Hub Discord server. I don't know how active they've been, honestly. I know I've seen them sometimes in the YouTube comments every now and then. But, you know, they were one of the OGs back when the Battle Hub Discord server was still trying to get above 100 members. And I battled them quite a bit and helped them train a lot. In a way, they were kind of my apprentice before Rolder. I was trying to help them. And yeah, they wanted when I was doing the Shiny Sunday back in the day, they requested Comfey, so I brought a Shiny Comfey, used it. It's a pretty good Pokemon, so I'm going to be using that original Comfey here too, just like the Mewtwo. I've got the Triage. Oh, I didn't mention. I'm so sorry. I meant to go back and say that the Rotom Heat was originally Brandon's. But I think they actually traded it to Raymond and they gave it to me. So that's how I got the shiny Rotom. But yeah. So here, this Comfey I bred on my own. Obviously, if you look at my team, what do you see that's missing? Priority! That's right, folks. We don't have. I think at this point, all I had was Faint Hawlucha. And you know me, I'm a priority guy. You know my tagline: priority is king. And I believe that. Unfortunately, the Pokemon I've selected don't have priority, so I need some. I was going for Doxmon originally, but there was a whole thing where the dock that I was inputting and stuff into the team builder, I set it to 130 instead of 135 points. Then I put Golden Go in at 17 instead of 15. It's Terra type amount. I basically effed up a bunch of numbers, and I had a lot more points than I had a lot more points than I thought I did. So once I realized that, I was like, oh, well, I can afford Comfey. And instead of Doxmon, unfortunately, I didn't get to use Doxmon again this season, but I needed to do the priority. So that's why Comfey's here. And I think it'll do pretty good. Can U-turn out. Can be able to do some shenanigans with knockoff. And of course, just the Calm Mind Draining Kiss Giga Drain set. Obviously, I can't Tera, but if I can get into a position where I can set it up, oof, this thing's going to be putting in some work. Next up, oh, and obviously also all the dragon types, anything that wants to set up versus me, like Rayquaza, for instance. You know, what's an extreme speed to a +3 priority draining kiss, brother? So that's just something that I can throw off. Next up, we have Muck, aka Magellan. Same nickname I gave to my Muck in Season 1 of Battle Hub Draft. Of course, that was a Alolan Muck. I wanted the Cantonian Muck in this case just because I already have a Dark type. And I experienced last time that having the 2 Dark types didn't work out well for me, especially my Poison type not being resistant to Fairy, nor resistant to fighting that actually played a role versus Scorp and versus his Tera fighting Iron Leaf. So having the, although then again they would have just hit with a Psycho Cut by the way. But nonetheless, I needed the pure Poison type. Not only that though, this is going to be a Tera Captain since it's only like 5 points. It's crazy. This thing is all the way down here. I've got the Poison Touch. The Poison Touch saved me many a times in Season 1. Also, I've got the T-Spikes on this thing too, which the Alolan Muck did not have, you know. Considering that Swagsire is my only spiker, being able to get T-Spikes pretty easily here, and obviously being able to absorb them is going to be very good. So, I think T-Spikes are going to play a much larger role for me this season, especially with Golden Go. Of course, if they have a Poison type, it might be tough, but you know, is what it is. It's got knockoff. It's got some good physical coverage. Obviously, I need another physical Pokemon. 105, I know, isn't the best, but it is higher than base Hawlucha. We could say that much. And biggest of all, I needed a nice, pure Spadef wall. So this is my Spadef wall here. We've got the physical wall of the Quagsire. Even then, I guess Quagsire doesn't have that much physical defense per se. But once I go max HP, max defense, and that's all it's doing, it can tank the hits just fine. In addition to the just bulk of the other Pokemon. So that's it for Magellan here, pretty much. We've got Indeedee next up. That's going to be named after Vegapunk. Just because I've got the 2 different forms that I can use, and Vegapunk obviously split his personality up into multiple forms, so I figured that would fit. And it's got the Psychic Surge, so that could be pretty cool, to mix with my Hawlucha finally. I did wait a little bit to be able to pair this. I wasn't sure that I was going to do it. Honestly, I was going to run Hawlucha without any terrain or anything. But then once I realized I could afford it, I was like, oh! I was like, okay, here we go. And this kind of helps, too, with the fact that I don't have as much priority as I would like. I was like, well, I can just cancel out all the priority and do that. So, yeah. With this Mon, going to be able to throw off Healing Wishes, which can be pretty good for my my bulky offense. You know, think of like Terapagos. This will pair pretty well with Terapagos, or even like a Mewtwo or Zarude if they get low. Then, of course, it has Baton Pass, so it can, at least the female one can Baton Pass out. Healing Wish, I guess, is also a form of pivoting, technically, if you think about it. And then also the male one has Expanding Force. And obviously, this opens up Expanding Force for Mewtwo! We're now Mewtwo Expanding Force! So yeah. Overall, I think it works pretty well with the team. So that's what we're going to keep trucking with. And finally, the final pick. I had 3 points left. And I was like, what am I going to do here? And I was looking at the type chart. And I realized that pretty much I was almost perfect. I just needed one little more change just to have almost perfect typing. And I needed the Basculin, Arlong over here. So, like I said, I preferred to have a defensive water type. But, what if their team is really weak to water? I need to have that really offensive water type. So, I decided, you know what? Alright, let's go with Basculin. Just have a nice, solid, strong physical water type with priority as well. So my last 4 picks, we've got Comfey, Muck, and Basculin with priority. This priority is going to be pretty good though with adaptability. 98 base speed, very solid as well. being able to wave crash and stuff like that. Also has Mold Breaker too, so now you've got 2 Mold Breaker Pokemon, which could be pretty good for some of these mons with these abilities. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much Basculin. Also 80 base of attack. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could probably run Hydro Pump for like a really physically defensive Pokemon and throw them off. So just something to think about there. Obviously, it doesn't have too much coverage. It has like Head Smash and stuff like that. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much my team in a nutshell here. So with that, that's going to be the team. We will see you guys in the next video. Oh wait, no, my bad. We've got the type chart. Look at this. I was teasing it out. Look at that beautiful type chart. You gotta admit, this is cool. Look at that. All the way normal to ground. I'm just only slightly... I'm not even weak to it. I'm just neutral. I'm neutral only to flying and dark. Everything else we resist, bro. And even then, I can fix that in a matchup with Tera. Like you could see how Zarude adds the flying weakness. Well, guess what? I Tera, and I get out of it. Oh, I need to resist dark. Okay, cool. Muck, Tera ground, or Tera dark, Tera fairy, something like that, you know. So yeah, overall, that's the team. And for real this time, we will see you guys in the next video.